Before we talk about the teaching profession and how it ennobled you, let's go back to your students. You're on your 4th cycle now, having done 8 years with 4 groups, almost finished your 4th cycle. What sort of capacities have you seen your students develop? And what are the kind of gifts that you see Waldorf education giving them?
Yeah, interesting. This last class is very different. In fact, I have a funny way of thinking about them. I often think about them like they're a young team, and my job as a teacher is like a coach. And young teams do interesting things. They get excited. My class, they were very excitable when I met them. I often say that they are a little bit like sparkling water. All you have to do is shake them up a little and they're all over the place. They're just an excitable group. That excitement is because of their creativity. They're really a creative group. And so my job is just often to help them harness their creativeness in a way that makes their learning meaningful and makes them productive. So it's just been a great journey with them, watching them mature, because when you see teams that mature, all of a sudden you get glimpses of their true potential. And that's what's happened with this class. You just get a moment, maybe in 4th grade, where you see what they're capable of doing, what they're going to become as they grow older. And all along the way, there have been these moments where their strengths really shine in a more polished way. They had like raw ability, but all of a sudden they've honed that ability, and it's been wonderful to watch them to grow up and to do that with them. What a wonderful journey to accompany children for 6, 7 years and just see their gifts manifest. So that's been great. And the capacities, the children change. These children are very different than the children I first taught. In a way, their gifts are more obvious, but also their challenges are more apparent too. Children today are much more anxious. That's what I see in Washington D.C. They worry.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm not sure. I think it has to do, well, all the children that I teach were born after 9/11. And truly in Washington, D.C., our climate has changed since 9/11. And so there's an air of uncertainty that just pervades the city. You see it in all of the security checkpoints that are at all of the monuments now. You can't just walk into the Capitol or the Washington Monument, certainly not the White House, the way you could years ago. I think that affects children. There are heightened times of alert in the States now, and the children hear that on the radio. And it's like the air they've just been breathing since they were born is an air that makes them anxious. And so one of the wonderful things about Waldorf education is the teacher stays with the children for 8 years at our school, from 1st to 8th, and there is a familiarity that happens over time. And they count on me. Even when I was leaving to come to Calgary, they went, "Where are you going? And you're not going to be here tomorrow?" And they just want to know. They want to be sure that everything is okay. And they like that familiarity and that repetition. And everything you read, all the studies show that children learn better when they feel safe. And they've really come to feel safe at our school. It's a safe haven for them, as I'm sure your school is. That's one of the gifts that our school gives them. And out of that safety, then their abilities, their capacities really can develop. And they're bright children. Children today are really well informed.
Right.
They're creative children. They're strong emotionally, and they're strong personalities. I have a class that is filled with some really strong characters, and those strengths they come out. But as a teacher, you really want to shape those strengths into really good learning habits.